Hey guys, how you all doing? You join me at the wheel of the Suzuki Vitara. I've driven one of these before. There is a review. I'll probably put the link up below or wherever it is. But this one is different because this is a hybrid, and it's a mild hybrid because, as some of the more astute people out there may have noticed, I'm actually changing gear manually. So it's got a full manual gearbox. Kind of cool. So it's got the same engine, the 1.4 booster jet turbo that exists, and I've reviewed just recently in the Suzuki Swift hybrid, and essentially this is the same system. It has the same hybrid system, so it's a mild hybrid system, 48 volt. So that's kind of cool. So they say it's 20% fewer emissions and 15% fuel economy saving. Slightly more expensive though. All the Vitara price range is £16,000 to £25,000. This one is £26,500. A little bit quicker than the 1 litre I tested before, but anyway, full review of this car will be coming soon. Stay tuned to the channel, and whilst you're here, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/Brown Car Guy. Check out a couple of videos that I just put up in the last few days. One is a review from the Salon Privé. Really great cars, amazing cars there, and some new car launches, supercars and stuff like that. And that was one of them. And the other one is the also a similar video from the classic car drive-in weekend at Bicester Heritage, and that was really cool. Had a lot of fun. Did that video in association with Motor Overload and my buddy Kevin, and we had a lot of laughs on that one, so go check those two out. Anyway, also make sure that you're following me on all the social media channels. Search for my hashtag Brown Car Guy, and subscribe to browncarguy.com, and of course you can also sponsor my content on patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh. Anyway, let's get into this. So the big news is the BMW M3 M4. See what I'm doing there? Never mind. Now, everybody's really annoyed about this. They're annoyed in particular about the grille. And there's maybe something else that you should be more annoyed about, but we'll come to that in a minute. They're annoyed about that grille because, of course, they've done that. They've done this really tall, stretched nostrils that really are supposed to be the BMW kidney grille, but it's like, a pair of very stretched nostrils, very vertically spaced. This is not new. This was actually launched or introduced, or a version of it was introduced in the 4 Series, the BMW 4 Series. Now, everybody's annoyed. I'm perplexed. I'm confused because if you look at the current 3 Series, it's got a kind of conventional face on it. And then they launched the 4 Series not that long ago, and that had the elongated grille on it. And you thought, okay, well that makes sense. They're trying to differentiate between the 3 Series and the 4 Series now. The 4 Series being the 2-door version and the 3 Series being the 4-door version. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, but it's going to get more confusing. So they thought they'll differentiate, and that's why they've done that. So that would make sense. So you would have assumed that when the M3, M4 came out, the M3 would also have a conventional type nose on it, and the M4 would have that elongated nose. No, both of those models have the elongated nose. Not only that, but it's even a bit more pronounced and a bit more obvious because it's fluted with the bonnet as well. So it's kind of contoured into that front of the car. So it's very, very obvious, and it's very in your face. And I think that's kind of the point, really. Do I hate it? Do I like it? I think it's one of those things that's going to grow on you. It's literally a like, oh my God, what have they done? And then let's see if it grows on you, sort of thing. So that's the one thing about it. The other thing about it, of course, it gets the 3-litre twin turbo straight 6, I believe, that is also in the BMW X3M. I've driven the X3M competition, and it was extraordinary, like crazy fast, like mental, really, really good. And yeah, like for me, if I wanted a compact performance SUV, I'd be like, that's the one to get. So that's a pretty good engine. So you get it with, 470 horsepower, 471 horsepower, I believe. you get it, and that will come with a manual gearbox, rear-wheel drive. You also have the option of an all-wheel drive and of course an automatic. However, here in the UK we won't get that version. We'll only get the top spec competition version, because it turns out that most people in the UK, when they go for M cars, they go for the competition. They just go for the full whack one, you know. So you're only going to be able to get that. It starts from £60,000. You think that's good news, because that one has 503 horsepower for that one. Very quick. However, it will not come with a manual. That version does not come with a manual gearbox, so no manual gearbox. You can get rear-wheel drive. Those will be available from March next year, and the all-wheel drive version, which is similar to the one that was in the M5, so really it's more a rear-biased version until you start to lose traction at the front, and then it becomes an all-wheel drive. That will be available from summer next year. So the thing to be really annoyed about, what people are getting all annoyed about these cars, is the lack of the manual gearbox. And but then why are you getting annoyed? Because really, what they're saying is that nobody buys them, especially in the UK. Everybody actually buys the automatics. So really, if you're upset about BMW no longer offering a manual M3, M4 option, then you've got nobody to blame but yourself, because of the fact that none of you are buying them. So really, all of you people out there that have recently bought an M3, M4, and yeah, it's your fault, you pansies. Why didn't you buy the manual one? So there, anyway, you can't have it now. That's that. So there you go. Next up, we've got a couple of high-end automobiles. Indeed, very high-end. So we've got the one-off Ferrari Omologato. Omologato, of course, Italian for homologation. Omologato is the car that they have released. It's a one-off. It's basically based on an 812 Superfast, which is incredible, phenomenal. I've driven them, they're just bonkers quick. And the only thing that's carried over is the windscreen and the headlights. Everything else is completely bespoke. It's for one customer. They're only making one of them. This is, I think, the 10th one-off that they've done. So it's just built entirely to that person's specification, and that's it. You can't have one even if you liked it. It's got a big old 7 on the side as part of this sort of fake racing livery thing that's going on with that car, and the 7 basically denotes the 7 decades that Ferrari has been motor racing. So that's what that's about. In terms of one-offs, it's really nice. It's quite spectacular, but it still looks pretty much like you'd expect. So in the battle of the exotic car one-offs, who do you think would win it this year? I think I would have to say the Aston Martin Victor, because that thing was incredible. So there you go. The other news is of a new luxury car is the Rolls-Royce Ghost, and you're like, well, hang on, that's old news. Surely they've already released that. Well, they have. In fact, they only recently announced the brand new Ghost, and the Ghost was a post-COVID, post-opulent car, is what Rolls-Royce was saying. So they reckon that in this era, people want to be a little bit more discreet. They want to be a little bit more shy, perhaps, about their wealth and their good fortune. Maybe not rubbing everybody's faces in it, because most of us are suffering quite badly because of not just the virus, but also the impact that it's had on economies everywhere. So perhaps they're right. I think they probably are right. However, I don't think that this is really a toned down Ghost. The Rolls Royce is a Rolls Royce, man. If you want to be discreet, buy a Dacia or something. You can't buy a Rolls Royce and pretend you're not rich. That's nonsense. Anyway, so now they've got a longer wheelbase version. So they've only just released the Ghost, and now they've already released the longer wheelbase version. Of course, they can do that because this new Ghost, unlike the old one, which was based on the 7 Series, I believe, this new one is actually on the same aluminium architecture as the Phantom and the Cullinan, which means that, you know, it can be reconfigured. So they put an extra 170 millimeters of room into this car, making it the one with the most rear legroom of any car they claim on sale standard, apart from, of course, the Rolls-Royce Phantom Extended. So there you go. And again, going back to the whole thing, oh, we're toning it down. Oh yeah, right. Well, it still gets the Starfield headlining, but in addition to that, it also gets a Starfield in the dashboard. Yeah, it gets it on the passenger side in the dashboard. It gets a Starfield in there. So you can't get more bling than that, can you? That's bling, right? That's bling. You can't get more bling than that. So That's bonkers. I suppose you could probably have that configured to your favorite constellation as well if you're into that sort of thing. Next up, we have electric cars and Volkswagen. You know, they've launched their ID range of electric cars, so they're now entering probably the most fiercely competitive segment with a brand new SUV, a compact SUV. That's the segment it's going into. It's got 200 horsepower, a range of 323 miles, which is actually not bad if you think about it, and 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8.5 seconds, which is okay. It's about par for that sort of vehicle. And yeah, that one is coming out soon. Not to be outdone, just I think within the last day or so, at the Beijing car show, Honda have shown or debuted the SUV E-Compact. I guess that's their addition to their little city thing, which I'm going to be driving soon, so stay tuned for that, COVID permitting, of course. Hopefully, hope to review that soon as well. So and that looks a lot like the same segment and the same sort of thing. So suddenly, I think we're going to start to see a lot of electric cars in that segment. We of course see a lot of high-end electric cars, and so a new arrival for Tesla is the Polestar Precept concept. Apparently, is going into production. Now, you look at this thing; it looks stunning. It's a 4-seater Grand Tourer, very futuristic, very sleek. Now, Polestar. What is Polestar? Now, Polestar is actually again. I'm again more of that the fact that I get perplexed so easily, if you like. Polestar used to be the racing wing of Volvo, and then a few years ago they decided that they're going to turn it into the performance arm of Volvo. So it's like the AMG of Volvo. That's what it was going to be, and then they changed their minds again. And then I guess when Geely bought Volvo, because Volvo is now owned by Geely, so it's Chinese owned, and then they decided to basically spin off that into a separate brand, and that brand, Polestar, would represent its pure electric efforts, so pure electric cars, which is a bit odd. Does that mean that Volvo itself will not have pure electric cars, or is it going to be hybrid? What's happening there? Surely Volvo will also have to have electric cars, right? Anyway, those cars are manufactured in China, and so far the ones that they've introduced look very Volvo-ish, because they were basically Volvo concepts that have now become Polestars instead of Volvos. But this Precept looks completely new and looks a bit Tesla-like, if I have to admit. Better looking though, much better looking. Anyway, that's coming, but 3 to 4 years away, so no hurry there. And it's got this strange pod on the roof, which some people have said, what is it, a taxi or a minicab or something? No, it's actually a LiDAR sensor array, and it's there for when the car goes fully autonomous, because I guess that by that time they're expecting that the car will be fully autonomous, so it will drive itself. I don't believe it will, because I think that we are a good decade away from fully autonomous cars. I don't think they're happening that quickly because of the level of AI sophistication that is required to achieve that in everyday driving. So that's not happening, I don't think. But anyway, there you go. There's some electric cars on the way. Giving it some beans in the Vitara. And fittingly enough, the last section is the sportier versions of some cars. So for example, now the big news is that Peugeot are introducing Sport Engineered is their performance brand. So that's what they're going to tag onto cars that will have a little bit of extra oomph. So I wonder what happened to GTIs and all of that sort of stuff. Anyway, the first one of those cars is the 508. And that's available for about £40,000, 355 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds, and of course the obligatory black wheels. Are they black or are they graphite or something like that? Anyway, it looks pretty cool, I gotta admit. It looks even cooler if you get the SW, which is the estate version, or the Fastback. I recently reviewed the Fastback. I'll put a link here somewhere, so check that out. I quite liked it. It was pretty good. So anyway, so that's going to be a whole segment of performance-orientated Peugeots coming from them. Meanwhile, obviously there is the ST badge Fords, which we all know are the performance versions, and of course ST that left behind other badges such as RS and XR3i, but now we do actually have RS, but no longer XRs anymore. So the ST badge is now going to sit on the new Puma. New Puma, I hope to be reviewing that as well later this year. Not the ST version, not yet anyway, but that's been announced. That's coming out. £28,000, 200 horsepower, 1.5 EcoBoost engine. Essentially what you're talking about here is a Fiesta ST, except this one will be stiffer than the Fiesta ST, and it will be, they say it will be more responsive than a Puma, and with bigger, better brakes than the Puma as well. So quite setup. I mean, if you've driven a Fiesta ST, and I have reviewed it, and again I'll put the link up somewhere here, I think it is the best car in its segment for the pocket rocket segment. Good value. It's about six grand cheaper than this would be anyway, because it's at 28 grand. But nonetheless, I think that would be very, very interesting, very exciting. And it puts me in mind, because obviously the Puma badge is familiar to some of us, and it puts me in mind, because it was a sports car anyway, wasn't it? The Puma originally, it was a two-door sports car. But then there was the Puma Racing, which was awesome. So it kind of puts me in mind of that one. So I can't wait to try the regular Puma, which I will be doing soon, so stay tuned for that. And then B, the Puma ST, which I think will be kind of cool. Anyway, there you go. There is the latest bulletin video and roundup of what's going on in the world of cars over the last week. It's been pretty busy actually. Check out more videos on youtube.com/Brown Car Guy. Make sure you follow me on all the socials. Just search for my hashtag. You can see on my hat, #Brown Car Guy. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And of course, subscribe to browncarguy.com. If you enjoy my videos and you like my content, then maybe you can sponsor me, and you can do that by going to patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh. And thanks so much to those people that have already done so. That includes Muhammad Ali Ahmed in the UAE, Partha in India, Tom Conway Gordon here in the UK, and Isaac over in America. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for doing that. And maybe the rest of you could also join them. It's from as little as £2.40 a month. If not, don't worry. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you comment, subscribe, share, all the rest of it. That is all greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for doing that. And I'll see you all again very soon in the next video.